We are now joined by Andrew Gross from AAA, one of the spokespersons. Andrew, good to see you. Everything far from normal this year, and kind of ledging off that, how are we expecting the travel to be different this year through the end of 2020?
We are projecting that there are going to be about 34 million fewer travelers this year end than there were last year. That's a decline of close to 30%, which is quite startling, but it's really due entirely to COVID-19.
Now, when we look back to Thanksgiving, how may this time frame through the rest of this year compare to how travel was for the last big holiday, at least for Thanksgiving?
Well, the two holidays are so different. Thanksgiving is a much shorter time frame. You're really looking at 5 days, and it's centered on really just one day and one meal. Year-end travel tends to be more vacation and destination oriented, and it's more like 10 to 12 days. But this year, what with COVID-19 restrictions, a lot of people are asking themselves, where can I go? And when I get there, what can I do? And the answer often is nowhere and not much. So that's why we're thinking that a lot of people for this year-end holiday season are probably going to be choosing to stay home.
Okay, and we're getting into that winter season. Of course, this holiday surrounds all the winter weather. We just had the big storm, too, earlier in the week. And what are some general weather tips, as we venture out on some of these winter roads?
Well, first and foremost, your car has probably been sitting in your driveway or on the street for a long time. For a lot of people, if they are choosing to travel, they will go by car, most likely. And this might be the first trip they've gone anywhere in 10 months. So they need to go out and check out their car first. Make sure the tires are properly inflated. Make sure you got windshield wiper fluid. Check the blades, because the time you realize you need new wiper blades is not when you're going 70 miles an hour down a highway and your windshield's all smeared up. Check those things first before you go.
It always seems this time of the year, right between the holidays, I'm changing my windshield wiper blades totally, and I'm doing it in the frigid weather too, so I hear you. Talk about some personal experiences. Perhaps if you were about to embark and deciding to travel, what are some things that you would prepare for and prepare to do?
Well, we know that for folks who are choosing to travel, that 96% of them are going to go by car. Going by car gives you a sense of control. So you can decide when you're going to leave, how many stops you're going to make, if you're going to go alone, or if you're going to allow someone to sit in your car with you. So one thing we tell people to do is take your hand sanitizer, take a mask or two, have rubber gloves or plastic bags in case you need to stop and get gas, pack some water, pack some snacks, make plans to pull over and eat the snacks and kind of stretch your legs and get the road fog out of your head, but do it in like rest stops, park down near the end away from everybody else. Find, ways to minimize the risk while you're on the road.
So, Andrew, you had mentioned one thing that people should watch for is, make sure their car's ready for one of these longer trips if they're going to choose to drive. Is there anything else when we look back, maybe in history, at least when you look back at people were unprepared for? What are some tips that, when looking back, that we should do now to avoid any problems?
Always check the weather before you go. You find people, they plan all sorts of things, and yet they don't really pay attention to what the weather conditions are going to be along the way or where they're going. So it's always wise to look ahead, make plans for that. So you're dressed properly, you have the right sort of gear in your car, and if heaven forbid something terrible should happen. So just prepare like you would for anything, and it will minimize any kind of hassles you have along the way. We always tell people, pack your patience. Well, pack your preparation too, because it really will make the trip a lot better.
Yeah, being prepared in so many aspects, it makes everything so much better. Andrew Gross, thank you so much from AAA. Happy holiday season to you. And remember, you can always go to weathernationtv.com for all of the latest regarding that weather. Maybe not just where you are, but anywhere along your route.